G'day, T. I had to wait a few days for this one here to get a bit more dry, and I think it's there now. It's not completely dry, but it's ready for the next stage to happen. And you have to bear with me because it is cold out today, and I'm a little bit sick, but I figured it was better than being in the studio in there, because that's, sometimes we paint indoors when it feels okay, but a lot of the time it doesn't. It just, it's nah. Just, Hello, we're here coming. Got a few new tools today. This one's like a chef's cake tool, which is kind of fun. Cozy indeed. It's cold here. It's cold. Okay. You're gonna love this. Chest box. It just happens to be the right size to hold the paints. Who would have thought? I've been good. I've been happy and healthy. This is oil paints. So they do have the tendency to go everywhere. So, but it's not your typical oil paints, it's in a stick form. So it's not like a pastel, it's wax. Now the wax with the oil paint means that to melt it, you use effectively, say, kinetic energy. So you rub onto the surface, and that rubbing makes the paint melt, and then it dries the surface. So it will look and feel exactly like oil paints, but without the solvents, the additives, the fumes, and the result we get is as beautiful as a solventy, fumey, poisonous tree floral painting. Cool. Pretty cool. And the other fun thing about it is it never actually runs out of paint. So with a paintbrush, you're constantly topping it up. But with this, you just go and go and go. It's pretty yummy coffee as well. This is Raglan roast, which you should never have drinks around your paint apparently, but we'll make an exception because, like I say, all the paint's in sick form. It's early days, but I think I prefer this over a brush. I'm going to spin here, team. That's good. Ooh. Shelby's just jumped in. I was thinking to myself, I'd better make sure I'm wearing a jacket because if she catches me outside, she knows I'm sick. She'll be disappointed. Thanks, Blue Phoenix. So, first off, awesome. Second off, all of those, it says on the cards, but they're all from the heart, and I use them too. I had they're great. Like, you flick through the box, then you think to yourself, this is really, really helpful and good. It's good too because Shelby's the one who actually got it onto Amazon. Shelby and I worked on it together for the longest time. Me making the cards, her pushing it out there. But I made it, remade it, made it, remade it, times that by 50, over and over again, every card. And I just felt sometimes they were a little bit cheesy, they were a little bit this or that, and now I really feel now the actual thoughts and answers are authentic. They're not like a creativity flows. Like yeah, it does, but what do you do with that? You know, like I feel like we made some good steps towards creating something that actually, You feel like you're not enough. Okay, cool. Everyone has that thought. Here's what you need to hear. Read that. So, I love it. I love it. I wish I had it when I was 15 in art, and like doing art in high school or in art school or you know, whenever I was doing art. I wish I had it. There was something like it out there. Great. I didn't flip through. I respect your mind power there. I wouldn't be able to help myself. When I get trading cards, I rip the whole bag open. Look at every single one of them. I actually go straight to the back where the rare card is on a Pokemon pack or a Magic or a Fab pack, and go straight to the rare card. I can't wait. Rip the box open, it's all on. But if you get the patience to do one each time, it's actually a better way to do it. It's more joy over the long term. I'm too weak. Like even people I play trading cards with, you can't just rip to the back of the packet and look straight at the rare card and throw the rest away. I'm like, I can. That's how I do it. It's awful behaviour. Shelby in with a sales pitch. I was actually trying to send them out free to people. Amazon won't let me do it for free. And it also won't let me just buy them and send them to strange address. So from a New Zealand address, I'm not allowed to just buy them endlessly and ship them all over the world. Amazon's like, that seems weird. And when I articulate it, yeah, that is suspicious. Now, sorry, let me come in. IDK, I appreciate that. It is. This here, see that? And this is for you too, Blue Phoenix, because this here is another kind of painting medium that we've never talked about. This one here is a wax stick. So that there, it's like a combination hybrid between encaustic painting, which is with melted wax, and oil painting, which is, oil. Now this is in hard form, and the reason we can paint with it is because the kinetic energy, or the roughing on the surface, melts it, it seals over the surface, and then dries like oil paint. A little bit faster because there's wax in it. Now, let me just show you this here though, because, I'm going to come right up close here actually. It's actually got a hard layer because it actually seals itself, so. See that? We're just going to cut the actual cured layer off the top. And then on the inside, et voila. We have pure, delicious oil paint. Literally just waiting inside. Kind of fun. Now, if anyone says I look a bit haggard, I do. I'm sick. I'm very sick. And, recovering, but sick. I was out to it on the floor last night. Shelby was in charge of everything from dinner to baby. It was not my finest. You can see here, cut down this way, and now I'm going to do a cut around the stick. And then peel it off. Ready? You flickety. Oh, no, not like that. Come on, Sebastian. A bit more elegance. Jeepers creepers. It's funny too. You have to get used to different pigments. Some of them play ball. Some of them just don't. This is a cobalt turquoise, and it does not want to peel away like the crimson wanted to. It's wanting to fight me the whole way. It's okay. I'm here for a fight. We're almost there. So I'll show you this here. This is the cured part. See that? Now I'm going to peel it off. The goal is to get only the cured part off, so you've just got raw stick left behind. And if you can do that, you're in for a win, because now when you paint, you won't have these lumps of cured, effectively paint getting in the way of what you're trying to do. And it's not as labour intensive as I'm making it look all the time. Once I've taken it off, I've got paint to boot for a long time, but the actual initiation of getting one going can be a little bit onerous. But think about it. With regular oil paint, we've got our paintbrush and our palette. We have to undo the paint tube, so we have to put paint on the tube and then do the lid back onto it. No, that's not that onerous, but at the end of it, you've got a brush and a palette that need to be cleaned. Steps, right? You got lots of steps that you have to keep on doing. So I guess the conversation is, what steps are you personally willing to tolerate? And I think personally I prefer a bigger setup and then less aftermath. But like some people prefer no setup, full aftermath. And it just depends on what you like. Acrylics definitely strike the best balance of all, but the problem with acrylics is they don't dry as buttery and luscious as oils might. So while you get the easy setup and easy pack up, you don't get a delicious result, not all the time. So it's not easy up there, fam. Let's flick to the comments. Chad, your girlfriend left you because of a gambling addiction, but you know you can win her back. I saw a reel that was, it's a good one. I saw a reel that was two boys, and they'd both bid $50 that the, all or nothing, that when they called the gambling helpline, it would go to 2.5 rings. Naughty. It's just irony at its finest. Hey Birdie, this is actually relevant for you, actually, interestingly enough. You might hate this, but you could also love it. Remember that DM I sent you about the pigment sticks? That's literally what we're using today. So these sticks are great too, because I'm hypersensitive to fumes, and they are only the pigment, which is necessary for colour. They are so pigment, let me just get this up. Linseed oil and wax. So the wax is made up of some plant waxes, which I haven't fully read I've read the safety data sheet, but I haven't fully understood that ingredient. I assume it's something fun and synthetic, but not fumey. And then beeswax. So beeswax, linseed oil, and pigment. Fun combo. That's all you need. All right. Art blocks never going anywhere either. We'll just leave that up on Amazon forever now, because anyone who needs, the amount of people, you have a video go viral or something on social media, and then your inbox is suddenly overflowing with hundreds of messages, and of those messages, a huge proportion of them are people saying, I'm in a creative block, I don't know what to do with this, it's so great to see you doing this, I lost my passion, I don't know why, I had someone, we were talking to someone actually, Shelby and I, who their husband was an amazing artist. They showed us some of their art, she showed us some of his artwork, and he's great, he's mechanically one of the best you'll see. he's got all the ingredients, and he did a solo exhibition. So that's how you know he was already in the money. And like in the zone, respected enough that an art gallery would, put him up there. And a critic in a paper wrote an awful review about him. Said it was basic, said it was, I don't know, it was naff. Anyway, he didn't fizzle straight away, but from then on out, he just slowly stopped and put down his tools. And that's not a uncommon narrative, that just happens. So Art Block kind of wants to be the other side of that coin that says, actually, maybe you listen to the wrong voices, maybe you listen to the wrong people. And you could say, oh, you should be tough, you should have not worried about it and whatnot. I mean, come on, guys. We all know that's not how it works. Someone says something rough to you, and you pretend you're tough, and then you're in the shower coming up with comebacks, If you hear it, it'll get under your skin, you'll think about it. And when you're using emotion to do your craft, which is what every artist is doing, though, you literally sculpting feelings, well, that will break it, the entire process. Gonna do some standing, guys. I'm getting a bit. I'm a little bit sick, but if you spend too long sitting, what'll happen is you'll start getting a little bit lethargic, and that lethargic feeling that you have will literally transpose onto the picture, like every time. I can't explain exactly how it happens, but every time. Kirsten, full stop. Thanks, full stop. I appreciate you. And Kirsten, I appreciate that. I did a interview with Resine at one stage. They're a paint company here in New Zealand, and they wanted to do a, Sedgar art using Resine, and it was an interview. So I talked, non-stop for like 10 minutes. And the comment section said, "Man, it'd be great art if you just shut up." And like that sits with you, definitely sits with you. But like, some sessions are for talking, some sessions are for painting, some sessions are for a hybrid. You can't. Anyway, funny, very funny. How's your? Yeah, you're good there, guys. You're good. Should show you what work we're working on too. This is the picture. So it's a funny one too. If I put this over the actual thing itself, that's the image. That's where we're at. So you can kind of see that although this is crazy, everything kind of has a purpose. It all kind of belongs. I think it's fair to say at the moment our reds and yellows are actually punching out a bit much. I think I started throwing orange at it, and that wasn't my finest moment. Actually, it should have been Joanne Brilliant, which is more like a salmony orange, but hey, that's why we're here. Still putting layers on it, because we allow space. Cheers, Birdie. You should try some of these pigment sticks though, Birdie. You might like them. They're a little bit tough to do realism style, but maybe they're the thing that actually suddenly you go a bit crazy. I always like it when a realism artist has their realism stuff, which like kind of what's the word here? I don't want to say is it vindicate? Not vindicate. It establishes them, proves them as a painter. You get your realism stuff, so everyone's like, oh my god, they can do a face and they can do a waterfall. And then you've got your really abstract stuff, which basically, like Picasso, you say to them, look, I can paint really well. I chose to make it like that. Realize though, that's not for anyone else. That's solely for you to get over your own insecurities. I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking like when people want to do that. You don't need to make pretty art to get permission to do abstract. That's a them problem. Okay. All right, this is what a fresh stick looks like. Et voila. We're moving on to titanium white. I love realism, but we've fun to try something different. So, I will say this though, Birdie. They are disgustingly expensive. So like, one stick, to be fair, it matches the expensive oil paints 1 for 1. So you could say, well, it's the same thing. Sort of. But because it looks like a pastel, we're not used to spending, you know, $60 on a pastel. That sounds silly. But don't view it as a pastel, view it as solid oil paints. And it's actually mil for mil. It's not too bad. For the Americans out there, I'm not sure how to articulate how much a mil is, but it's about 2 New Zealand dollars, so it's about $1 US per mil. How much is a mil? Yeah, see, this stick's fresh. It's cutting really nicely. The fresher the stick, the easier it is to actually scrape off the already cured part. And they could add stuff to it, so this wasn't the case, but I actually like having them as raw as humanly possible because, like I say, I don't want to be around the fumes and stuff. I want it pure. Hey, Sky. Honestly, if you're an artist, abstract can be some of the most fun for you because you understand the mechanisms of the medium you use, so you understand what's inherently possible, and then you effectively just take away the goal. You say, right, this is what's possible, but now we have no direction. So what happens when you get a realism painter who understands the medium to its most deep, complex elements, and then you take away all their direction? What do you get? And that's hypothetically, that's where abstract art comes into its own. Like, if anyone here is wondering, Birdie's an artist and she does amazing realism landscapes. And so, have a look at those landscapes. And the reason why I say have a look at those landscapes is then imagine someone who can do landscapes that good. Suddenly it was like, I'm going to lose all direction. I'm not going to make a landscape or aim for anything. I'm just going to keep using the skills I have to understand paint to just keep slapping paint on a surface. Result. And you never know where that's going to go. You never know where that's going to end up as, I mean, it might be a portrait, it might be a landscape, it might be nothing. It might indicate something, but actually it doesn't have to be anything, you know? That's the hardest thing, to get over that fact that actually it doesn't have to be anything. And we get this idea in our heads that because of everything we do at our job and our lives, it has to go in a direction, it has to have purpose. But once you put that into art, you shoebox it and you go to the same result every time. And it breaks your heart. So, well, how do I avoid that? You got to figure out how to progress without a direction. How do you do that? I don't know. That's different for everyone. It's a weird premise. But like, it's not just art, progressing without a direction strikes me as pretty similar to what we go through in life as well. You know, next step isn't very obvious, but if you just keep trying your best and taking steps, suddenly opportunities, things, people, places, developing yourself just opens up. I should probably show you up close what these look like, team, because when you see a pastel, you think, oh my god, it's going to be like a dry sort of a thing. This is how these actually land in practice on the surface. So you wouldn't think pastel at all when you see it at that range. You're thinking paint 100% of the way, 100%. But that's the beauty behind them, that you're using a solid stick of paint and the result that you're getting is very much so a fluid, dynamic, textured kind of paint. Right. That way. You know, the rain's paused, team, so who wants to risk it? Gonna head out and actually, we're ready to get hurt again. Come out with me this way. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna set you up beside these big long timber, redwood timber, right here. Now, you can enjoy these lovely empty compost bins for now. I'm going to come on back and put the art here. Bear with me, I'm a little bit slower today, certainly, but got my slippers on. It's a comfort day. It's Seb's sick, but he wanted to do something today, so he's out here painting. Shelby's been an absolute hero looking after Cooper. If it wasn't for her, this wouldn't be possible. Okay, let's put you in the position there. There we go. Now, if I can grab you little bits and pieces. Fun. I'm not sure how well it showed up earlier as well. Let me just bring you right up here. This is the end result once the pastel sticks have actually hit the surface. So a little bit crazy, team. See that? I can't see what you're looking at. I hope it's great. But up close, they behave like regular paint. That's the goal. Because, like, I guess at the end of the day, I'm always going to have this love, this interest, this whatever with, you know, those oil paintings where the end result's just luscious and buttery. No matter how hard I try, I can't escape just this love for those kind of paintings. Just can't. Lighting your world up. You know what? Fair enough, Blue Phoenix. And the sun, it's vitamin D. It's actually going a long way to making me feel good. Because, man, last night I was not in a good way. That's what they don't tell you about babies. Well, they do tell you about this, but here's something I ignored about the advice. Is that they get flus and bugs from daycare. You come home, and all of a sudden you've got a flu or a bug over and over again. It's wild. It's truly wild. So a lot of these sticks are new. You need to tolerate me as I prepare them. But I'm trying to do as much on each individual colour as I can to make sure we're not spending the entire time just surgically extracting. Oh, that's a good one. Check this out, this is satisfying. Okay, coming up here, see that? That's a slice I've done. You just get in just the right place, like peeling a kiwi fruit skin. You just want to just get it around there like that. See that? Just like that. And that cut mark I've made around there means it's going to come off in one clean sweep. I'm just going to keep that blade of the knife. Obviously a sharper knife than this one I'm using would be better, but there we go. Voila. I'm proud of me. That's exactly what I was trying to do. So that was much easier to do than the titanium white. And we've been rewarded with a stick. A stick. Payne's Grey. Now, it's going to lift off these. There we go. I think we can do it. We're going to give it a go. We're going to give it a go. Famous last words. We may put the jacket back on. We're going to see how we fare. All right. I've got a I have got a singlet on under this, so. So Payne's Grey is like, if Carbon Black had a blue brother, it'd be Payne's Grey. Hey, Cindy. Another cool piece. Thank you. Appreciate that, John. These are wax sticks. Wax. Oil paint, effectively. So it's oil paint, but it's got wax through it, beeswax, to help it cure faster. Come on. Ooh. Cure faster. And the wax means that we get, first off, we get a little bit more archival, funnily enough. Second off, we get, I guess the most important thing we get is the beauty of oil paints without any of the fumes. I think that's the biggest win that occurs. You know, if we're trying to calculate exactly what the win was if I was a salesman, I'd be saying oil paints, because nothing's beautiful if someone's had to sacrifice the best part of themselves for it. Like, while I believe in hard work, you don't want to know that an artist was using turpentine and you no longer think straight. Like, you don't want that. That's not what we're after in beautiful art. Da Vinci's art's beautiful if we imagine that actually he was always healthy and that actually he put blood, sweat and tears into it, but it didn't, rot his brain. That wouldn't be good. We like the idea that Van Gogh had a mental illness and that he put all his effort into his art, but not the fact that the paint poisoned him. That wouldn't be a nice story. We don't want that. So, anyway, I'll show you up close. This is now a bronze stick, so it's pure, delightful bronze mica. Gorgeous, gorgeous. There's a slip that's around the surface. Creating a distinction between breaking yourself or sacrificing yourself and actually giving up your time, giving your effort, giving your energy. There's a difference. I think Blue Phoenix might be in bed now, Shelby, to be honest. I think it's getting late there. You check the timer again. But also, if you are still here, Blue Phoenix, wishing you all the best on the renovations. I was never mind. We need Naples yellow. I think I have that. That's the right colour. It's because they're so messy, Chuck. The moment you make a mistake, cleaning it up takes, you know, soapy water. It's a messy thing. It's a messy thing. Thanks, Karen. But the best way to start learning about oils, rather than trying to get yourself all messy and then massive cleanups and stuff, try and actually buy some really cheap brushes from a DIY store. Really cheap brushes. Get some plates you're happy to throw away from a thrift shop, and then buy really good oils. Because if you thought the difference between acrylics, expensive acrylics and cheap acrylics was big, the biggest gap is between cheap oils and expensive oils. And yeah, so I think the best brand out of the tube that I've seen is Michael Harding. That's the one. That is the one. There's a couple of other ones, Gamsol and stuff, but I like Michael Harding because that one there, out of all of them, the rhetoric around that is it has the most pigment, and that's what we're here for, pigment. So I think it's Michael Harding. If you look up the name and it's like Michael something, I don't know, just know, you'll know that I think this is what Seb was talking about it. Or just search most expensive, most pigmented oil paint. It's about $50 a tube. You're like, what? $50 a tube, but just start out with and play around. Like, you do need black. Don't listen to anyone who says don't paint with black. Paint with black. Black, blue, red, white, and don't go for raw. It always looks bad. Go for Naples yellow. This is Naples yellow, and it just has this, stops your work from looking like a kid's porridge bowl. You know, it's yellow's good, but it's the primary color that wants to get used the least. You know, it's raw, bold primary yellow. It's a lot. So this is it here. So I dance between two colors. Let me bring them up here. Here we go. Iridescent gold and Naples yellow, and that does my third of the color wheel there. And in terms of blue, you're like, there's so many blues. Just go for ultramarine blue, and you'll be fine. That's the only blue you really need. Everything after that's a footnote. Think of in terms of, it's gonna be a weird analogy, but ultramarine blue is the Plato of the paint world, of the blue world, and every other kind of blue is just a footnote. So, as if to say, every other kind of blue is just a footnote on ultramarine blue. Once you go ultramarine, you don't need this cobalt turquoise and stuff. You can actually get close to it with ultramarine. Not on it, but close to it. Oh. Got a little bit of rain sitting in. Will it stay is the question. If it stays, we're in trouble. I would have liked to know you, but I was just long before legend ever did. Thanks, Ricardo. Shelby's left. Can you DM Shelby and tell her that I'm slim? My body's, after having a child, has gone from this, just like not hugely, but it's done a little bit of a triangle to pear movement. So, like, it's not the end of the world, but the early warning signs have gone off. You know when you see a picture of yourself and like your shirt's just pushed out, like, I'm like, if you continue down this path, at least to one place, 2 more kids and the kind of behaviour you currently got, it's all over, mate. Is that a group of ducks sitting around a person performing a ritual? I was waiting for someone to get it. And finally you came along and you got it. So thank you for being here. Good night, Cindy. It's good to be back outside, team. It's good to be outside. It's good to have a medium which isn't dosing me with fumes, and it's good to just be able to paint. It really is. I reckon we'll do a bit more on this one. I think we'll do a bit more on this one, and then I might bring out something new. Undecided on what that'll be yet, but I think the key is to just keep letting the paint set on this one, so we come on back and hit it with undisturbed colour. You know what I mean, when you have a paint and it's got loose colour all over it, it just keeps mixing and combining. We don't want that, we just want raw, undisturbed, potent colour all over the surface. We'll get in there. We are getting there. It's funny you say that. What fumes? Turpentine. Yeah, turpentine's a fume, but actually it's not the end of the world. Like, yeah, poison, don't breathe that in, but there's much more things in paint besides the turpentine you add in. I was talking to a person who owned an art shop the other day, and they're like, well, I'm like, I can't use anything. I can't use gouache, acrylics, oils. Like, without a mask, I just get brain fog, start talking funny, can't think straight, and I'm not there for my family after I'm finished painting, so I can't use them. And she's like, oh, you should be fine with oils. Winsor & Newton's a great brand. Winsor & Newton carry about as much toxic things as a bad quality cigarette. Like, and you, my God, my golly gosh. Like, the one you'll find in all paints, even gouache, is called MBIT. BIT and MBIT, which is a cancer-causing agent, and like, be like, oh, well then just don't eat the paint. Well, you got to use your brain, and there's no repercussions at the moment for long-term damage that a paint might cause to you. In 40 years' time, if you've lost half your frontal lobe, the paint company that sold you that paint will, basically every employee there and the company might be long gone. So that they're not taking liability for any damage that are getting dealt. They release a safety data sheet, but they don't lead with it. I like these because they say, hey, we promise you only 3 ingredients. And I respect that. Lead with the truth. And effectively, you're just someone who wants to paint, and they've got some paint they want to sell you. And if you squeeze that paint out of the tube and it comes out when globs where it actually separates, or you've got some like liquid there, like tomato sauce you haven't used for a long time, you say, oh, it's not good quality paint. So we actually taught the manufacturers to add in a whole bunch of stabilizers and antimicrobial things and all sorts of stuff to make it last really well. But don't kid yourself, that stuff is bad for you, really bad. And when I say look at the evidence, look at every person, gas mask or not, who works with paint for long term. It is a well-known thing that commercial painters are a little bit loopy, and artists, we're all a bit weird, aren't we? Especially the ones who work with paint. We could say that's a coincidence and that's why they paint, but then also, riddle me this, why do people start off doing more realism style artworks and just slowly go crazier? Oh, that's a coincidence too? Cool. Like, I don't know. Seb, question. How do you do water drops on things? That depends on the medium you're using. If I wanted a water drop on something, I'd probably legitimately get a colour that a child would say was water, and I would draw a literal symbol of a water drop. But that's because if I really badly wanted a water drop in it, I'd just resort to just raw symbolism, aggressive raw symbolism. But the other option you have is ignoring the water drop and the backdrop and the foreground and the characters completely, and focusing 100% on just the shapes and colours you see. So I look at this photo here, and like if it's water drops, if it's stones, whatever it might be, we're just going to ignore completely what's in the picture. So here, we've got a dinner with 6 people around a table, and I've got a Naples yellow stick. So what I'm looking for right now is the next shape. Tone, I don't really care about colour, but the tone that matches Naples yellow, so like kind of like a bright grey or anything around that bright sort of grey area. Anything in that area, we're looking for that shape for it. And then right there, see above this gentleman's head, up the top there, the bar on the right-hand side at the top, there's a line that goes across, and then a line that goes down but tapers off. So we're going to come in here, coming on in here, right here, line that goes across, a line that comes down and tapers off. Now, that's not perfect, but no stroke I've ever done has been perfect. That was done with good intentions. Now, to make a painting, anything that has a chance of being a masterpiece, you just keep doing that over and over again. It's not about being crazy and wild, it's about being methodical. And a stroke may look crazy and wild, but actually it's the methodical nature of spotting a shape or tone, adding a shape or tone, and doing that with repetition. And then it's the consistency, it's always, in everything you ever do, is the consistency of that methodical spotting of shapes and tones that makes a picture come together. The other school of thought, and there's nothing wrong with it, it's actually all Renaissance thinking, structure the whole painting out, lay it all out, and then place things in really carefully so you know you're threading needles like a sniper. This is more like a machine gun technique. Look for a job, do it immediately. Don't care what the subject is, don't care what the colours I need are, I'm focusing entirely on just every time I see something of mild relevance, I'm adding it in. Boom, 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 boom. And you know what? Sometimes I hate it, like a lot. Is he the Wi-Fi connection or is it just me? Is there no Wi-Fi here? I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, so this is just beeswax, linseed oil, and pigment. Looks like we're not going to get out of this one. Why? No, we're not getting out of this one. Keep it on coming. Water starts coming in, you get cold so fast. G'day Steve, how you doing? Welcome on in. We're painting outside, but it started raining on us, so we're on the move. Please enjoy the compost bins once again. back on. Still a typical dry time using linseed? Not exactly, since it's half linseed, half beeswax and plant wax. The dry time is significantly decreased, and because you're putting it on with a stick, not palette knife or thick wads with a brush, even though you get a textural impact, you don't have to worry so much because you're not going to end up with giant lugs that will take several months to years to dry. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just you want to dry a bit faster. So what will happen is the wax is going to get on in there and set. Obviously, as soon as it gets cold again, the wax goes hard. The linseed oil isn't this giant blob trying to dry. It's spread out in the wax vehicle and it will dry much faster. So you're dealing with a fast drying oil without the fumes. That's cool. All right, I'm going to grab a light because now that we're inside, it's not as slick on the lighting. So I'll come on back in a second. Here's my fancy light. Ooh, whoop. Don't do that, Sebastian. Let's get this plugged in. Almost there, almost there. Yeah. There we go. That's good stuff. All right, that makes a big difference. Vibrant stage. So we went from outside. I'm liking the theme-based gifts, Blue Phoenix. You're threading the needle. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you. It's beautiful there. How are you? And SoCal. Oh, I thought, yeah, no, perfect. I'm up to date. Right. Sometimes you feel like, you know when you're at a gathering or a party or like anything like that, and you walk into a conversation late, but don't want to look like you walked up silently and weirdly, so you're like, oh, what are we talking about? Or, oh, blah, and ask a question about the story. And then the whole group has to rewind to explain it to you, but they don't, yeah, anyway. That's kind of what it feels like when you read back through the TikTok comments and find a conversation with someone else. I'm like, oh, that's embarrassing of me. Something classic. Not every conversation's about you, Sid. I'm sorry. Okay, are we... Our lighting's not perfect, is it? It's a bit glary. Oh, aches and aches and aches. It's looking good though. I'm liking this whole part up there. Let me have a think though. Let me have a think though. Diddle-do-do-do. I wonder if I tilt it a bit, if it'll improve our lighting boundaries. How's that? I mean, it's not perfect, but it's fair to say we're on the up. Okay. Let's chuck this glue on. Question is what colour is going to be up next. Colour is much better. Yeah, cool. Cool. I might just bump you back a little bit too. Just to there. It's not easy, like, when you're outside, plein air style, it gets really easy because where's the sun? Okay, well, get your easel, face the sun, and it'll hit both of you effectively just right. But when you're indoors, like, you're dealing with cameras cameras prefer natural ambient light. And yeah, sometimes being outside's a little bit annoying because it can get really harsh with lighting. But still, it's a pretty drastic improvement on any indoor conditions. The other, the best in the morning when the clouds are covering the sun. So the sun's at about a 30-degree angle, clouds are in front of it, and the light's diffused. So when you say diffused lighting, it's light everywhere, but there's not a light source per se. Like, obviously the sun's over there, but the clouds in front of it mean that the light kind of scatters everywhere, diffused. Righty-tighty. Yeah, there's a fun one. Let's get some pink up in here. There we go. Boop. Right, come up close again. This is the pink that we're now working with. First thing to do, slice off the cap. Now remember, this stuff's not cheap. So you want to make sure if you're going to slice stuff off and get rid of the cured paint, try and keep the cuts you made as slim as possible, because what you're cutting off there is kind of like when you fillet a fish. Everything you leave behind is now just wastage. So you got to make sure that you're actually, and that's sending your mil per paint ratio through the roof. Higher that goes, more expensive it becomes. It can't be helped completely, but the point is to help it to a degree. There we go. And if you get it just right, I'll show you this here. If you get it just right, it'll even peel back without you having to even cut. You can just pull. Usually the crimson colours, the red ones, are better for this. Yellows, blacks, they're crumbly a lot of the time. So this is warm rosé. You can just see here, they just want it to peel off in a nice clean, and it's done. And now we've got our pigment stick to work with. Et voila. Yeah, that's why oils are so much fun to work with, Birdie, because when you're working with oils, it feels like even after the painting's been dry for 10 years, that you could just touch it and it's wet, or you could just eat it. That's the goal. That's the goal. Orlando. I'm doing good, Orlando. Welcome on in. Sorry for the delayed response. Crimson, amazing colour. I have to admit, between crimson and scarlet, I'm a scarlet boy. But and that would be an interesting thing to know about someone. Are you a warm red kind of person or a cool red kind of person? Because they're very different, and some people even argue whether some people even argue if which one's the true primary red. Is it one that's more warm or one that's more cold? I'd be inclined to say a warm red. You know, not vermilion, but pushing towards that more of an orangey red, more than a bluey red. But now I can't say Scarlett without thinking about Scarlett Johansson, so. Birdie is camping. Good on you, Birdie. Go camp. Did you take some artwork with you, or did you just go flying solo? Because we went for a massive road trip all around New Zealand, Shelby and I, and we stopped by a whole bunch of special places. But we took that painting Oasis with us on the entire journey, and so Oasis is literally made in the New Zealand oases. It's Palm Springs, so it's a US location, but it's been made in New Zealand's oasis, which it's kind of cool. It's kind of like what did I miss? I missed something. Cheers, Orlando. I appreciate that. Yeah, you can end up. I think it's cool to entwine a bit of a story through them on both levels. So, for example, with the valley I call home, that was obviously a place in Pennsylvania. It was Sugarloaf Mountain, and you'd think to yourself, okay, well, how are you going to make that special in New Zealand? And I'm like, well, actually, it's a landscape, and so what we can do with it is we can go to a place where I call home, a valley that I personally call home. So we went to an actual gorge, a valley, and we painted the picture. We started it there, which meant that the same sentiment of feeling that inspired the picture is the same place that the artist would make it, which, like, that makes sense. Like, when you say it, you're like, there's nowhere else you'd make it, right? That's just, of course. But intertwining that is the key to making art meaningful. Without it, you just end up with pictures, and the world's not short of pictures, the world's short of meaningful art. You know, it's stuff that really captures your heart and makes you feel something. You know, if you want to see a picture, you can now just literally ask a robot for literally any picture in the whole world that you ever wanted ever. There's not a shortage of images. There used to be when they were doing, you know, religious pictures and all that sort of carry on, but there's not anymore. But what there is a lack of is emotion. You know, you could go around 10 art galleries these days. You could go around, you know, you could scroll on your phone through art specifically for hours, and you won't feel anything. Art was supposed to make you feel, so why did you feel nothing? And that's not your fault as the, I don't want to say end user because art's for everyone, but that's not your fault as the appreciator of art. That's the fault of us as artists. It's our role to produce something which is going to make you feel. If we can't do that, then yeah, maybe there's not a place for us in the 21st century. Find a way to create something to help people feel something. And when you find that, cling to that and exacerbate that and make more of that. But for some reason, through pain, insecurities, nerves, fear of being seen. Fear of being seen is probably the biggest one. What do? We just create artistic mush, nonsense, and seek to make a pretty picture for our own validation, not to make something that'll actually encourage someone else to feel. That's a dangerous space to be in, because that'll not only connect with no one, it'll break you. And so Not a good strategy. It's the most widely implemented strategy, so if you followed standard practice, that's where you'll end up. But it's not the best strategy. You've got to figure out how to actually make someone else, with the image alone, feel something. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot, but something, just a little something. It's not easy. You'll pour your heart and soul, every last bit of energy you've got, every last little ounce of inspiration and passion and blood, sweat and tears you have into a picture, and out of someone else, you'll give them one little happy feeling. But that's the beauty behind art, because with the dissemination, how we can get something out there everywhere, suddenly that one little happy feeling can be times and scaled to millions. Even if it just went to hundreds or thousands or 10 or 20, suddenly you start to see this return on investment, this return on the sacrifice you made. And when I say sacrifice, your blood, sweat, time, tears, passion, inspiration, love and feeling, you're going to see a return on that investment by the amount of joy that then brings to other people in small doses everywhere. Look at the ROI on Starry Starry Night. Yeah, he might have cried a little bit while he made that. He might have beat himself up a little bit. He might have got drunk night after night and fallen over, passed out in a stupor in his workshop. He might have hated it, loved it, left it outside, brought it back in, painted it again, hated it some more, painted it some more, loved it, hated it some more. But when he finished it, no matter what he went through, the amount of joy that picture has brought the entire world for decades and decades and decades significantly outpaces whatever effort went into Starry Starry Night. Was art worth Van Gogh dying? Personally, I say no, not at all. But Starry Starry Night didn't take his life. That's just the best example, in my mind, one of the best. In fact, Starry Starry Night, I don't want to talk about Mona Lisa. Starry Starry Night is the best example of return on investment from artistic process, I believe. And because the investment, the result of ROI in art can't be money. That's not art, that's business. Good art can be good business, but good art is not expensive art. Don't ever make that mistake. But what you want to do is people to feel something from your art, to actually get some pleasure, happiness from it. That's what I believe art should be, could be. Hasn't always, like, this isn't always been a trail of thought either, because historically, like, look at the pre-Raphaelites, I suppose they were actually. That's the one thing that is like this, but the Renaissance painters weren't trying to do anything else other than capture what they defined reality as realistic as possible. Like, they weren't interested whether it made you... They probably wanted you to feel euphoria at the idea of a Holy Spirit, but past that, no, I don't really think they really wanted you to... No one wanted you to sort of grow as a human being through a painting as much as probably today people do. But Birdie, I took a massive canvas with me last time I went on a trip, and it was too big. So Oasis, well, I loved it, was 48 inches high. It was just too big. This is 48 inches wide. You want to work on about 30 to 40 inches, so you've got enough canvas to do you for a whole trip, but not too big that you can't, I don't know, carry it if the place you want to paint's 300 meters away, you know? Mark, I'm good, mate. Thank you very much. I'm keeping well. Just giving everyone a lecture about emotion and art. Everyone now feels like they've been told off. Someone's in the back like, yeah, it didn't feel like that, but I kind of liked it. There's always one. Oh, we've got, would you believe it? Abundant blue skies again. So we'll let this sit for a moment. Let me grab out another little painting and we'll continue. Hope you get some sleep. Early appointment, good to catch you. Yeah, good night. Blue Phoenix. Appreciate you being here. Oh, get some sleep. Relax. Relax. Let's get this and put this one down. Over here. Got a picture here I haven't worked on for a hot minute when I put this one up. I've missed this one. We did this one back in about 2023. And while a lot of those works haven't survived, this one did. It's imperfect, the paint was mixed improperly. There's a whole bunch of reasons why this one isn't great. But at the same time, it's got something cheeky about it, and it's kind of appropriate at the moment. Reason being that yeah, sheep in the background. All right, we're gonna head back outside because outside is where fun's had. Cheers, Steve. Right, let me wander off of this. I'm going to drop it back to where we were painting before, and then I'll bring you guys with me. We're not going to paint for too much longer though, because you know when you're sick, you seem fine, but if you overwork it, you just get immediately gassed. We don't want to run that line too far. And also, if you're wondering, just know that sheep will bleat like that, whether or not anything's happening. So it may sound like you say, well, it sounds like, the little one's looking for its mother. They're in the same paddock. They have shelter. They have grass everywhere. They have water. But they're mooing away. And part of the reason behind barring away, and part of the reason behind the bars is that probably those little lambs are like, yo, what was that water from the sky? What was that all about? And like, I respect that. It was confusing for Koopy on the first time too. That's all good there. Let's bring this bit here a little bit closer. Chuck that across there like that. And then let's bring you up to here like this. About there. That's where I want you. How's that? A little messy mouche stand. Here we go. Yeah, they're actually, so this is actually a sheep shearer, and you do have to shear sheep otherwise in New Zealand because the temperatures get so hot that they'll actually get heat stroke and die. So if we're going to have sheep in New Zealand, need to shear them. The only wild card, and the reason why my ones aren't shorn, is if you shear them after they've lambed. So the little one going meh, as opposed to bah. Second one's a sheep, first one's a lamb. When they've got new lambs and you shear them, suddenly they use more of their body's energy to generate heat at night. So you leave them with their wool if they've just lambed, but then after the lambs have grown a little bit and they're on grass, then you can shear them. Why am I wearing a jacket? Because I'm freezing. Absolutely freezing. Let's go back to that pink colour. That was really good fun. Anyway. Right. The other fun thing about this one is it's going to be, for the most part, from the hip, from the imagination. I mean, there's very little difference between the hip and the imagination. Where did that come from? Oh, I just shot from the hip. I guess it wouldn't sound as cool if an artist said that, but it's kind of the same thing if an artist said, it's from my imagination, Let's spin you around here a little bit. Barrel of shoulders, that's for sure. I'm also inundated with grapefruit right now, so if you need some grapefruit, you're willing to pay for certification for international shipping of fruit and produce, sort you out. By that, I mean there's one tree here. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is cold here right now. And on top of that, I've got a cold, so I've kind of got my hands cuffed a little bit to wear the jacket. Otherwise, if Shelby jumps on in here and finds that I'm painting outside without a layer on, might get in trouble. Can't have that. Alright, new paint stick. This one's going to be fun. This is iridescent gold. So this is, you put this anywhere and it's going to look, I'll show you what it looks like there. Whoop. It's going to look like gold. So, couple of things about iridescent gold. If you use it with acrylics, they dry tacky. Doesn't look like gold, looks like a print, you know. If you basically any kind of gold except for high quality oil gold, and you won't get gold. Sorry, that's a lie. You've got one type of gold, which is gold leaf. And gold leaf is what the old Renaissance paintings and things would have. And that looks like gold, 100%. Is to remember that iridescent, we're going to use the glitters that you'll find in cheap stores. That's not what iridescent gold is at the high quality end. It just means it's a little more translucent, but it's got the shine to it, this glorious, rocking shine. Kind of feels like you're painting with steel, or in this case, gold. But you want to be careful with it, because if you use too much of it, gold can quickly overwhelm whatever you're doing. I need some glasses. Okay. Last little stint. Sun's out good and proper now. I'm going to take the jacket off. We're going to do a few more little colours on this. And then I'm going to treat myself to a hot chocolate and a spa. I just had to check that, make sure Shelby's not in. She might think I'm coming straight back to the house. Shh. Hey Janice. I see you popping in here. If you're just joining, bear with me. We have a term in New Zealand called I'm crook. I am currently crook, which means I'm sick. I'm slowly booting back up, but right now, just let me perform my gentle recovery. Check this colour and get the rest of it. Okay. This one could be fun. Classic thought rolls to my mind of just hit it with ultramarine blue, because that's a tried and true technique of mine. But we're going to go for a medium grey, because as
want to make sure I'm not getting too excited. So let me come up real close here so you can see this. This is the pigment stick here. Slice this off here. Voila. And then come up in here. Now that it's been sliced off, we're going to slice it right down through here. Just like that. It's not my cleanest cut, that's why I don't fillet fish for a living. Then we slice around the edge of it here. Just like that. Now we got one cut that way, one cut around the whole thing. And we're going to see how easy it is to lift the cured paint on a Payne's Grey oil stick. Verdict's in. This is not an easy one. Bring it up closer here so you can see. You can see there. See how it's coming off in little like drips and drabs? That's just not the money shot I dream of in life. That's is the opposite. But once we get it, we'll have it. That's the plan. Whoop! Gone forever. Et voila! So now we have a stick. Wow. The top part, so all this part under here is wet oil paint ready to be released from where we made that cut line and up. Now we have raw oil paint mixed with a little bit of beeswax that's ready to be applied to the surface. And it's not the most exciting color in the world, I totally get that. It's medium grey, but without medium grey, you can't party. You need medium grey to let you do everything else that you plan on doing. It's the colour that it's like the accountant of the business. You know, you're like, oh, accounting's boring, I don't want to do it. But without accounting, you can't have a business. Everyone seems to find spaces for black, white, but no one wants to talk about old, inconspicuous medium grey. And that's an atrocity. To be honest, I'm sticking up for it, but I don't like it. I can say that because medium grey's a pigment, and there's sticks an inanimate object, so I can tell it how I really feel. I don't like medium grey, but I know that by using it, I'm going to launch my other colours into a better place, just like a good accountant would. So I reckon we should rename medium grey accounting grey. You heard it here first. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. If you push too hard with these, you risk breaking them. And that's what I've just done there, which is really annoying because now I can't really fit that back on there. So we're going to need to just work with the broken piece that we've got until it's effectively run out. That's a lot of grey. But at the same time, now that we've had our hand forced, we can get a little bit belligerent, you know, for lack of a better term. Because even on later in the piece, this medium grey is just going to keep on until it's cured completely, combining into other colours, mixing through them, having fun. Every time we come with something new, medium grey is going to be there. coming on down low. On my knees, praying, God help me please. Almost through it. Put the rest here. All right, we are out. All right, team, this glove's too messy now to paint with, and the gloves are actually down in town. I don't have any more here, so rather than attempting to paint with no gloves, which is always a disaster, we'll pause there for now. So, thanks for joining in, guys. Wishing you all the best from this little pocket in New Zealand, and wherever you are in this big old world. Thanks for the 20,000 likes, and I hope you're healthy and happy. To Portland, Oregon, and everywhere else. Cheers, guys. Ooh, I am cold. I earned this little dip.